right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
It's an effort to curb gun violence by bringing people together. The community event that's providing resources to St. Louis neighborhoods.
People see us all coming together and working. Then when we talk about communities needing to come together, then it rings a little better.
Right now, a dangerous storm is heading to the southwestern U.S. when Hurricane Hilary is expected to make landfall and the danger it could bring to the region. But first, tonight,
significant heat is on the way. After we warmed up a little bit today, we've got more heat on the way. An excessive heat warning in place starting Sunday. Just how hot it gets and how close we are to records.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robert Townsend. Brent is off tonight. Right now, the bi-state is bracing for the return of extreme heat. Tomorrow, an excessive heat warning will be issued for the St. Louis area. Let's get right over to meteorologist Gary Frank with your Weather First forecast.
Yeah, good evening, Robert. Good to see you. And, you know, this evening it's a little bit warmer. That's what we're starting to see at the moment. We're not going to drop into the 60s tonight like we have the last couple of days. Excessive heat warning starting Sunday, carrying all the way through Thursday. And, yeah, we know that it's real hot, but what's the difference here? And we talk about the heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. And, you know, this is what's really going to creep up on you over the next couple of days here if you're outside for any period of time consistently. Right now, it's not all that bad, but it hadn't dropped all that much. We were in the 80s. We got to 90 today. It's 82. It's more humid. That's what we'll see overnight. We have that south breeze that's bringing in more moisture. We're also going to see our strong high pressure off to the west. That's keeping us in the 70s, even mid-70s in many cases that dropped into the 50s and 60s the last couple of days. That doesn't give your body a brief break to at least allow yourself to avoid those heat exhaustion categories that I just showed you. But over the coming days, it's going to get even hotter. We're talking about close to record highs and several days in a row over 100 degrees. We'll track that for you and talk about how close to records before we break out of this heat.
We made it easy to find resources to stay cool and safe during this extreme heat. All you have to do is text the word heat to 314-425-5355 and we will send you a link. Tonight, the Pacific Coast is bracing for Hurricane Hilary. The now Category 2 storm is taking aim at Mexico's Baja California and Southern California. Hilary is expected to weaken before making landfall, but will still bring heavy rains and high winds to the region. Nearly 30 million people across parts of the Southwest are bracing for potentially devastating flooding. Just a few inches of rain in desert areas can be catastrophic because the dry soil can't easily absorb water, instead sending flood waters onto roadways and into neighborhoods. Now, officials say the storm could also cause life-threatening rip currents, deadly mudslides, and even tornadoes.
We want to ensure that you are safe through this entire event. If you do not need to be on the roadways, we are asking you to postpone any of your non-essential travel until the peak of the storm passes.
President Biden said FEMA has preemptively positioned personnel and supplies to aid in response. Hilary is expected to make landfall in Southern California tomorrow. Stay with 5 on Your Side for updates on Hurricane Hilary. You can find them on air on KSDK.com and, of course, on the 5 on Your Side app. Tonight, one person is dead, another seriously hurt after a crash on Interstate 44 near Fenton. Here's a live look at the scene on eastbound I-44 between Bowles and the Merrimack River. Now, the highway is currently shut down right now. The accident happened about 2 hours ago, and Missouri Highway Patrol is now investigating. Right now, police are looking for this man wanted for abducting a 2-month-old girl this morning in South St. Louis. Police say just before 7, James Stephen Richardson Jr. assaulted the girl's mother and threatened to hurt the baby. He then allegedly stole the mother's car and took off with the baby. Both the child and car were located a couple hours later. Tonight, Richardson remains at large. Tonight, the city of St. Louis is working to make its neighborhoods safer. Today, a community event was held in Dutchtown with the goal to promote gun safety. 5 on Your Side's Diamond Palmer joins us in the studio with more. Diamond.
Robert, that's right. The St. Louis Office of Violence Prevention was founded in July 2022. It's a division of the St. Louis Department of Public Safety with ongoing partnerships to continue gun violence prevention efforts. One of those efforts at today's community kickback were free gun locks. Despite Saturday's hot temperatures, the St. Louis Office of Violence Prevention kickback was packed with St. Louisans. It happens every third Saturday of the month with free food and plenty of activities for the little ones.
Every time you come out here, you look in the face of a young child, a mother, a grandmother, a father, and you see that they can come out and have fun. They see something that they may not be used to happening.
Wilford Pinkney, who serves as the commissioner of OVP, says its mission is to spread messages about secure firearm storage and violence intervention programs to make St. Louis neighborhoods safer. Keontae Wilborn and his family were one of dozens in Marquette Park in Dutchtown.
A lot of people have guns but don't know nothing about gun safety, so being able to show them, hey, these locks can help with gun safety, especially accidental trigger pulls and stuff.
Diamond Diva Empowerment Foundation is one of dozens of community partners with free resources for people in domestic violence relationships.
We want to make sure that the community know we're here and have the ability to access us, you know what I mean? There's a lot of resources out here, but it gets kind of troublesome trying to actually access the resources.
If people see us all coming together and working, then when we talk about communities needing to come together, then it rings a little better. Then it rings hollow if you can't come together and collaborate.
The next OVP kickback will be at Columbus Square Park on September 16th from 2 to 6 p.m. And the agency says it hosts events in different St. Louis neighborhoods to make safety a top.
Today, a North County school district is making sure students feel safe as they head back to the classroom. This morning, the Ferguson Florissant School District held a back-to-school festival. Now, it started with a march, which included district leaders, staff, students, and their families. Superintendent Joe Davis says they want the community to know that safety is their top priority. He adds students have pushed for more focus on mental health awareness.
We want their voices at the table. We do things too often to them and not with them, and so they're with us. And they're saying, I actually had our quote one of our students, and she said, listen, it's okay to get therapy. I get it, you know, and so I think it's so important that we send that clear message to all of our students.
The district is partnering with Hazel Health, which offers teletherapy for everyone in the Ferguson Florissant School District. New tonight, a special dedication at CBC High School honoring a former football player and his team. During a football team fundraiser tonight, Damian Baker's mother surprised them with his gold jersey. His mother says Damian had his best friend design the jersey during his junior year. Now, the team wore the jerseys the next season and went on to win the first state championship in school history back in 2014. Damian's mother tells 5 on Your Side this was her way to give back to the high school.
CBC was instrumental in the fundamental parts of Damian growing into his manhood. And this football program took him to heights that we probably would have not ever seen had it not been for Coach P and Coach D and the entire football program.
Damian Baker was killed last year in downtown St. Louis. Right now, police continue to search for his killer. Anyone with information can call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, the new exhibit now open in St. Louis that recognizes the genre's impact on art in the 21st century. Tonight, recovery efforts continue in Maui as survivors begin the long process of rebuilding their lives. The promise by state leaders as the number of dead continues to climb.
High temperatures today throughout the region, not quite 100 degrees as we look off to the west, but it felt like 126 somewhere. We'll show you where that is and what that means for our weather over the next few days.
Tonight, recovery efforts continue in the wildfire-ravaged island of Maui. The number of people killed rose to 114 late Friday, but it is expected to grow as the search continues. Hawaii Governor Josh Green says the goal is to rebuild the historic town of Lahaina, but that will take years and billions of dollars. Green.
I am personally making sure that Maui receives every possible resource available from the federal government, from the private sector, and from all around the world, and that all of this resource gets to the people who need it.
The governor says President Biden and First Lady Biden are expected to tour Maui next week when it can be done safely and in a way to support recovery efforts. You can help the victims of the Maui wildfires. Just text the word HELP to this number, 314-425-5355. Good news for Parent Plus loan holders. Some of your loans can be forgiven. Verify's Ariana Daytel is here with what you need to do to access that money.
More than 3.7 million people hold Parent Plus student loans, federal loans that parents can take out to help their child pay for college. We recently verified that those loans were excluded from the Biden administration's new income-driven repayment plan known as SAVE, which will forgive some student loan borrowers' balances after between 10 and 25 years of payments. Verify viewer Terry asked us if there are other loan forgiveness programs available for Parent Plus borrowers. And using these sources, we can verify that yes, there are. But there's a catch. Federal Parent Plus loans have to be consolidated in order to qualify for forgiveness under these other federal programs. Let me break down your options. First is the Income Contingent Repayment Plan, or ICR. Under this program, qualified borrowers can have their monthly student loan payments reduced based on their income and family size. ICR plans cap monthly payments at 20% of your discretionary income, or offer fixed payments based on a 12-year loan term, whichever is lower. And after making payments for 25 years, any remaining debt will be forgiven, according to the Education Department. Another option is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, or PSLF. To qualify, the Education Department says Parent Plus borrowers must work full-time in a qualifying public service job. The student loans must be consolidated into a direct loan, and those loans must be repaid under an ICR plan. After making 10 years worth of payments, totaling 120 payments, any remaining debt is forgiven. To apply for the Income Contingent Repayment Plan or the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, go to studentaid.gov. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Daytil.
What would you like for us to verify? Just reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, or email us at verify@ksdk.com. Meteorologist Gary Frank joining us now with Weather First forecast. Gary, hotter temperatures are on the way, huh?
Yeah, very hot. Temperatures got to 90 degrees today, and we're going to continue to see temperatures rise up over the next few days. Here's what it'll look like off to our west. We got nearly 100 degrees, but that wasn't so much the case that, we're going to see those numbers go over 100 degrees, and they're still at 85 right now. That's a sign of things to come because not only we continue to have the humidity, but the temps are going to stay up overnight. You can see the transition between the two air masses, one that we're going to be stuck in for a while as we're still in the low 70s, even upper 60s, but closer to us, low 80s and then mid 80s. And that's because the amount of moisture in the air. We'll see that here as I show you a few things. Our current dew points in the mid 70s off to the west. They're in the low 60s. It's a transition from drier air. The bigger these numbers are, the more humidity there are. And there's some local spots that are in the mid 70s. We'll see our current temps right now. Still feels like it's in the low 90s at this hour off to our west. Lawrence, Kansas today. I mentioned we had a 110 degree high, a 74 degree dew point. Officially, it ended up being 125. So looking at it, it felt like 125. Not saying we're going to get there, but that's not out of the question in some spots in the region. Incredible heat. This is what we're going to see a steady diet of. The heat plus the humidity. Mostly clear tonight, 73, no problems whatsoever. But that's the reason for the excessive heat warning Sunday to Thursday. You know, these are alert days every single day because of the excessive heat warning, first and foremost. Now, what's the difference between just regular summer heat, a couple of hot temperatures here and there? It's the overnight lows, not really much below 80. It doesn't give your body a chance to cool off. We got a lot of people, friends and neighbors without AC. We have to check on them with cool down St. Louis. But, highs near 100 and significant humidity, your body doesn't cool off as naturally. And as we continue to see this high strengthen, the core of the heat is here by midweek. And that's why we continue to see our heat index readings expect to go over 110 for tomorrow, 115 in some cases. I think we have a steady diet of that over the next few days. So dangerous heat, 100 tomorrow, 104 our record, 101, and then on Tuesday, 103. I do want to update you on what's going on with Hillary as we continue to look to the north. A steady stream of rain in areas that only get 2 to 3 inches of rain a year. Tropical storm warnings for San Diego, for LA. And as we continue to see this storm, which is 90 miles an hour, maybe weakening when it comes to wind, it's going over cold water. It's going to make landfall here by sometime by tomorrow, and that's going to eventually be an issue for tomorrow, creating a lot of significant flooding issues in areas that only get 2 to 3 inches of rain, taking out major highways, significant issues. For us, over 100, up to 103, and then eventually next week we'll be back down in the upper 80s. That's close to normal by this time of the year, but no rain for the next 10 to 14 days at this point for us.
Yeah, get ready for this heat wave, huh?
Yep.
Thanks, Gary. Now here's Holden with what's next in sports.
Messi mania continuing to take over the MLS, but would it be enough for him to work his magic and win the Leagues Cup final? I've got the highlights coming up next in sports.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
It's really no secret the 2023 Cardinals have been really hard to watch. They entered tonight 15 games under 500, and if you think Friday night's 7-1 beatdown was bad, well, you might want to hide your eyes before these highlights. Newly minted Hall of Famer Scott Rowland was honored pregame, but the Birds would fall behind in the first inning. They get to strike him out, but Andrew Kisner airmails the one over second base. Francisco Lindor is going to come in to give the Mets the 1-0 lead. After adding a run in the third, DJ Stewart demolishes this ball. He's a big boy, and, well, he hit that one a long way into the bullpen. Mets up 3-0. Nolan Arenado would take his frustrations out in the bottom half of the inning. He tags this one out to left and gone. But unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough as the Mets win this one by a final of 13-2. Cardinals manager Ali Marmol, well, he was at a loss for words after the game.
We just have a tough time scoring. I mean, I think our starters have actually done a really nice job over the last several weeks. We're having a tough time scoring right now. Usually not the case. I feel like our offense has done a really nice job throughout the course of the year. So is it a tough couple games? Yeah, absolutely. But we got to figure out a way to be better tomorrow.
Just 19 days after the Cardinals traded Paul DeJong to Toronto, the shortstop stay up north could be coming to an end. With Bo Bichette returning from injury, the Blue Jays designated Young for assignment. He managed only 3 hits against 18 strikeouts and 44 at-bats in 13 games in Toronto. Speaking of free agents, John Mozeliak believes the team will need to add 3 starting pitchers this offseason. Mo recently shared his vision for the 2024 Cardinals with our sports director, Frank Cusimano. He's Frank's special guest tomorrow night at 10:30 on Sports Plus.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
The wait is almost over. In less than 24 hours, the summer break is over for City SC as they welcome in a familiar foe from Austin. You may remember that City opened MLS play with a 3-2 come-from-behind road win against Austin. Stroud leveled the match in the 78th minute before Klaus grabbed the game winner 8 minutes later. However, manager Bradley Carnell says his first-place squad can no longer sneak up on teams in the second half of the season.
We're just trying to pitch up and play our way, right? But when you play edgy, physical, fast, dynamic, quick, if the other team's not prepared and ready to compete for that, then it becomes a problem, right? So teams are now really, doing their homework, and they've done their homework, but now they're playing with the edge. So I get the feeling we bring out the best of a lot of teams.
Inter Miami and Nashville FC squared off in the Leagues Cup final tonight, and it didn't take long for Messi to get into the scoring column in this one. He takes the deflection, dances around a couple of defenders, and puts the left footer past the keeper for his 10th goal in 7 games. But Nashville would tie things up in the 56th minute on that perfect corner that bounced off a couple people before making its way into the back of the net. We're tied at 1 going into stoppage time, and Miami would play the long ball. Watch here as Leonardo Campagna, he gets it deep, stays onside. He's going to chip it up over the keeper, but he just can't keep it in bounds. That's all right, though. This one just went final. Miami goes on to win that one on penalty shots, the first ever Leagues Cup champion in MLS history.
A lot of folks were watching that one.
I could not take my eyes off of it. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear me yelling out there when he missed that little chip in right there at the end of the game, but Miami was able to finish that. Now we got a second half coming up for City SC. We want to see them do that in the final.
All right, Holden, thanks. Here's Gary with a final look at weather.
Very hot in the next few days. Dangerous heat. That will be our third 100-degree reading of the year tomorrow, and then we've got 4 more after that. So we're going to more than double that this week, and pretty much every single day is going to be on the hot side. That's why we have alert days from Sunday to Thursday. These numbers will feel close to 115. That's how significant the humidity will be. And it's going to be a big story, especially days upon days of that. That's where we're really going to have to check in on some people without AC and keep them in mind.
Yeah, we'll be following it all week. That's all of our time for 5 on Your Side at 10. Saturday Night Live is next. Join us for Today in St. Louis tomorrow morning, starting bright and early at 6.